I'm Tom Hansel with ImageSoft. This is Colleen Albert from Hyland.
Hello.
Together we're going to talk to you guys about how to leverage ImageSoft customer care in the Hyland community.
And we just met like 5 minutes ago.
Just when I walked in this room.
Like, oh,
First
you're
time we
Tom.
met.
Nice to meet you.
Yep. It's been a busy day. So, just to get started, I'll talk a little bit about what customer care is. So for those of you who don't know, ImageSoft really has two levels of service. We have a standard support service and then a customer care level of service. And a standard support service is we gave you a solution and we will make sure that that solution works. We don't do much expansion on it, upgrades to it, anything like that. It's just you get what you get what we gave you, and then that'll continue to work. Customer care is just that extra level of expansion. We're there for you, call-wise, upgrades, that sort of thing. So I'll just go through some of these real quick. Software and hardware maintenance. That's just typical. That's something you get with standard support as well. Hardware. I mean, we're scanning in documents. We also sell a lot of you guys scanners. So we'll help maintain the scanners. There's preventative maintenance visits we can do. If you are not familiar with those, it's you may not have a problem with your scanner, but you may just be interested to have a tech come out on site and just kind of give it a revamp. Just clean it up a little bit, make sure it's in good health. So we do something like that for you as well, with a preventative maintenance visit on your scanner contracts. Unlimited telephone support, so you can call us all day, get a couple of admins calling us, get a couple of support representatives going on simultaneously if you have big issues going on. But we're here for you, so you can call us anytime. Solution upgrade assistance and assurance, and that's a big one. So a lot of people, a lot of systems are upgraded every couple of years, few years, something along those lines. You jump probably, I guess I'd say about every 3 years people are upgrading their on-base system. So you do it once every 3 years. We do, last year we did 62 upgrades. So we're the experts at the upgrades, not you guys. We know that you don't know the process quite as well as we do. So with customer care, we'll kind of talk to you, review your system, develop a full-blown upgrade plan from beginning to end to get you there. And I won't go in too deep, but if you guys have never heard of a incremental parallel upgrade approach,
Love that.
yeah, it's excellent. It takes all the stress out of an upgrade, and that's what we try to use when possible.
I think just describe that a little bit for those that are you guys familiar with that upgrade?
Yeah, so it's.
Talk about it for a little bit.
Yeah, so there's two ways to upgrade an on-base system. An inline upgrade or a traditional upgrade is, you've got older, say 9.2 or 10.0 software on your servers, on your client machines. You just install the new version right on top, and you're upgraded. It sounds easy. The problem is there's no safety net or rollback plan when things go wrong. So you kind of just have to dive in head first and just hope that the new version works the way that you tested it. With a parallel upgrade, you still have your full 9.2 system up and running. You spin up a new 13.02 now, 14's not out yet. So spin up a full new 13.02 system. You as an administrator or have a couple of power users can get into the system, the 13.02 system, plug into your production database still, so you're actually testing real processes with real data in your real system that the 9.2 users are also using at the same time. It helps just plan if you see a problem, a real showstopper, that didn't affect any users. They're still on 9.2. They're still working. So then you have more time to figure out what is a problem. Is it a bug, or is it a configuration issue? Do we have an easy workaround? Or it really just gives you the peace of mind that if something goes wrong, it's much easier and much less impactful to your users. custom solution and configuration support. So that's, you know, that's what OnBase is a custom solution. But we, you know, we'll support that and help you kind of, you know, maintain that solution or identify processes and different areas where we may not have leveraged OnBase like it should be, and help you get that into that department or make these inefficient processes more efficient. Access to our professional services group. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of you guys have talked to them. Professional services is the other department at ImageSoft that develops these systems from the ground up. So they're the ones who made your system to begin with for the OnBase customers. You know, once they develop it, they test it, you go to live with production, you've got, you know, a window of where they're still heavily involved, but once things settle down, it's usually about 30 days. They transition the system to CustomerCare, which is where you now live forever until you engage them for another project. The benefit to that is, you know, when we have the original developer just right on hand to talk about your system for it, you know, they know your system very well. I mean, they built it from the ground up, so that's another benefit, is that we can pull them in any time that we need, you know, that extra level of knowledge about why something was done with your system, or you know, any kind of clarity like that. Liaison to vendors, so liaison to Hyland. We you know, we work very well, partner very well with Hyland, and not just Hyland. It's Kofax, it's Canon and Fujitsu, and you know, all these other vendors. But we're the middleman that can help you guys get in contact with them and engage the right people just to get any kind of problem solved that we need. Advanced architecture and planning assistance. So that's a little bit what I hit on just a moment ago. Is you know, when you are ready to expand your system or you know, maybe upgrade your servers, we'll be there to help you with that too. Extended service hours. So standard support will support you 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Extended service hours for customer care is 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. your time zone. I'm guessing most people here are Eastern time zone, but if anyone came from somewhere else, we're there for you. So it's really 9 p.m. our time for West Coast customers. I don't know, is anyone from the West Coast here? No.
Maybe we should
So
do
it's
one
still.
out there. That would be nice.
What's that?
I said maybe we should do a summit out there, like in San Diego or something.
Yeah, really.
That would be nice.
Yeah, that would be excellent.
We can all travel.
So we have an admin welcome packet, and this might be useful. It started as, you know, we saw a need where the administrators of an OnBase system would leave, they go on and get another job or something, and they had the knowledge of the system, of how everything was set up, usernames, passwords, server names, why things were done in a certain way, how departments use it. Then when they leave and a new admin comes on board, that, you know, we found that they were left with, you know, very little, nothing sometimes, and they don't know the system, they don't know why it's set up the way it is. So what we've tried to do is develop a welcome packet for that new administrator, and it's really evolved since then. So if you guys feel like you just want the welcome packet, even if you're not a new administrator, we can absolutely get that for you. But it's just kind of a starting point for a new administrator to see what do I do with this system, what do I do with OnBase. So it'll talk to you a little bit about the community and the benefits in that. It'll talk to you about any information we had about your system, knowing that sometimes gets outdated. So we may have, you know, server names, users, what's installed where, that sort of thing. Anything we have we'll get to you, but if it was an administrator that kind of took the reins of the system afterwards, they may have changed things that we just simply don't know about. But we'll get you what we can. So let me just quickly show you what that looks like, just a little sample version. Right here. So this is it. So you'd start right here. Where am I going? Well, let me back up for a second. It would come to you in a little email with this zipped up file. And it's got functional specs, which is the 100, 200 page document that the original developer used to develop your entire system. So we'll go dig back, get those for you. At least it's something. You probably won't be reading through the entire thing, but it's a good starting point. Best practices of system administrators. CustomerCare flyer. I don't know if this one's updated or not. And I've got some printouts here I'll hand out too if any of you guys are interested in our CustomerCare flyer, some pictures of what the rest of the team looks like, because I know that's always exciting to actually see the face with the person you're talking to every day. So I won't bother going through this. Yeah, this is what I have printed out that I'll hand out in just a moment here. The other thing I'm going to hit on next slide is the ImageSoft toolbox, which is also part of the welcome packet, but I think it's useful enough to call out on its own just to talk a little bit about that. Let me back out here and show you what that is. The ImageSoft toolbox is just a collection of tools that we in CustomerCare have found useful for you. And this is just a PDF kind of describing what tools we have for you and what's available. For those of you who don't know what the ImageSoft Logging Console is, it surprised me because it's such a useful tool that we've developed to troubleshoot our products. So TrueSign, IDOC Creator, Thick or Web, IDOC Converter, lots of ImageSoft products, all right to the ImageSoft Logging Console, a lot like the Hyland Diagnostics Console, only built for ImageSoft products. So it captures a lot more detailed error messages in the background that you otherwise wouldn't see at all. So that's a useful one. Some things we built is check dip directories and check service states. And these are just Windows services that'll monitor to see are files stuck out there that should not be there for more than 5 minutes. If so, fire off an email to the admin, just as a little system health check for your system. Check service state is a Windows service that watches other Windows services to make sure they're all started up. I won't go through all of these, but there's a lot of good information here. So even if you're not a new administrator, but you've never seen this before, reach out to us or the CustomerCare team and we'll get something put together for you. A lot of Hyland stuff, useful data generators, security diagnostics, e-form validators, that sort of thing, and then some Microsoft as well. So I won't go through all of this, but just know that that's there and that's available. So that's what CustomerCare is. So there's still a responsibility on your side to help. It's a two-way street where you're the administrator and we're your support. So this is what you guys should be doing to make yourself most successful. One is system ownership, and we see that sometimes people are just very hands-off-ish, and we built this system for you, we gave it to you, and now it's just never touched again. And that's just not how the world works. Processes change, people change. Once users get into the system and start using it, say 6 months down the line, once they're used to OnBase, they realize, oh, I know I said I wanted this, but I really actually wanted this. And that's partly a role of an OnBase administrator, is own the system and recognize what processes the users are using. How can you expand on it? How can you make those better? How can you change it? So issue triaging. So when your end users are calling you saying, hey, I've got this problem, it's up to you to determine, is it a PC problem? Is it specific to that user, a corrupt user profile maybe, or is it for everybody? Is it OnBase, or is it just a new image I just put on these machines? So it's up to you to also triage what's the problem. Is it an OnBase problem or not? And then if it's an OnBase problem, then you can engage us. there's some initial troubleshooting, like I was saying, is it user specific, workstation specific, what kind of error messages are there, any kind of initial troubleshooting you've done, can you recreate the issue or is it sporadic, that sort of thing. So that information gathered up front is very helpful. Again, system maintenance is just, checking, make sure the blood's flowing through the system. Make sure it's up, it's healthy, users can use it. And then, again, I talked briefly on system expansion. Just recognize where else within your organization can you leverage OnBase or leverage this solution to make your processes more efficient. And, we'll start and we'll give you a good base, and at some point, you got to take the reins of it and just, continue moving forward with the solution. So upgrade involvement, we talked a bit about the upgrades. We'll help you, guide you through the entire thing, but CustomerCare, we work through GoToMeeting typically, so we like to have the administrator involved. There's a lot of information you guys have that we just don't have about your system, server names, a lot of times, access to those servers, that sort of thing. System documentation, like I said, we have a functional spec for you, but as the system evolves, that gets more and more outdated. And you should be maintaining a document of your system, if you're out, and you can also send us a copy if you ever update it, and we'd be happy to store it for you. And then, if you had to take an extended vacation, end users had to call us or something, at least we have something to give us clues about what your system looks like. And facilitate communication between us and the end users. So we don't want to just jump in with an end user. We want the admin on the line. Again, it's your system, and we want you to know what was wrong and what's being changed, and know that we're not in your system making changes without your knowledge. So we like to have the administrator involved with that as well. And the last one is the business process knowledge. We're OnBase experts. We like to think that we know your processes very well, but it changes from one FOC department to another, and it's just terminology sometimes different, and users are different. So that's up to the administrator to really kind of keep up with that. I just threw contact information down here for you guys. I'm sure most of you guys already know how to get a hold of us. Call us if it's high priority. Don't send an email, because those tend to just sit in the box for a couple of hours, and if your system's down, we want to know about it. So calling's the best option for high priority issues. Email, I said. Online is a CustomerCare portal, which some of you may not know about, but I'll show you that in a moment. And then we also have a dedicated true filing support. So for the counties that have already, leveraged or have purchased true filing, not too long ago, it was our CustomerCare team that would support both the OnBase side of it and support to these law firms that are calling in needing help with the true filing system. And now we have a dedicated support team for that, which even if you don't have true filing, that's useful for you, because that frees up our OnBase support, where you guys may have had longer than average hold times recently. So that's part of the reason for it. So hopefully that helped alleviate some of the hold times for you. ProPer as well. Yeah. Thank you. Yep. It's it's really a system that they have to be able to call in. Things go wrong with it. We have to figure it out, so they will be calling in. But no ProPers are live just yet. All right, so the client access portal. So what you can do in here is report new issues to us. You don't have to call us or email us. You can just go into the portal, just fill out, I'm having this problem, hit submit, and it'll send it on to our ticket tracking system. Then it'll get assigned, and somebody will reach out to you. You can check the status of an existing ticket that you have open or closed with us, really. But you can just log in and see all of your open tickets that you have with us. You can upload supporting documents or screenshots to your tickets. Review our notes. So every time we work with you on an issue, you know, it may be a ticket that spans for, you know, a month, and we're working every day. Well, every day that we work, we're typing in notes of what we did. You can see those notes that we type in on our portal. That's useful for this exact reason, is you may come across an issue a second time and realize, you know, I've seen this before. I know we've seen it. I just don't remember what the resolution was. I'll just jump in the portal and look it up, and you can see the resolution right there. For counties or organizations that have multiple admins, this helps you guys kind of coordinate who's in charge of what ticket, and not duplicate efforts. So you don't have two people trying to work the same ticket. You can see it right through the portal who's working what. So this is the CustomerCare portal. So this is what you get when you log in. There's really not a whole lot to it. It's just a kind of peek into our ticket tracking system for you. So you get the options we just went over: submitting a ticket, seeing your open tickets, or searching tickets. You just go to submit a ticket. All we need is a title and a description from you, an issue type, you know, say OnBase, and then some sub-issue, what the problem is. You submit that, it'll come in to us, we'll reach out to you, and we'll start troubleshooting. My open tickets, this is just everything that you currently have open. Again, there's not a whole lot of input you can put into the ticket after you create it, but at least you get to see that it's there, it's open, and this is where it's at. So let me drill into one of these. I'm sure every county has had app enabler won't scrape from MySeas problems. And this is a bad example because there's not a whole lot of work done, but there will be a lot of lines right here that'll say, you know, I opened this ticket, I worked with Wendell, or I've worked with Grayson, and you know, this is kind of what we did at a high level overview. And this is also where you'd add screenshots or attachments. And Grayson, this is where you were asking right here, this is my organization's ticket. So if you have multiple admins, you wouldn't see the tickets in my open tickets. Those are mine. But if I go to the organizations, you'll see all open tickets for every admin. You know, then there's some filtering you can do over here. So just search for closed tickets or any tickets, and ticket number, title, whatever you know about the ticket you can search on. Any questions about that portal? There's not a whole lot to it, but it's just a quick view into what we have going on for you. All right. Well, Colleen's going to show you a bit about the Hyland community.
Thank you.
All right, so we have a couple that aren't on yet, many of you that are already on community, so thank you so much for that. And from here, we will dive in. So as we said earlier, we have rebranded, and it's no longer Hyland Community, but it is the OnBase Community. And so here we are. This is just a test account for you to get an idea as to what it looks like. I definitely encourage you, if you haven't, to come in and edit your profile. We love, if you're willing to share with us, we're not going to force you, but we would love for you to share a photo of yourself. It helps, I'm sure, for you to see our faces and the Highlanders' faces, you know, and other customers when you're out there. So if you have a photo that you're willing to share, please do that. It's nice as opposed to that generic avatar. And feel free to write something about yourself, how long you've been working with OnBase, whether you're a workflow administrator. It doesn't have to be too much, but some basic details. And just like an email, you also have an opportunity to include a signature. And it would just be like your name, your title, your phone number. And it's up to you if you want to include that signature and whether you want that signature to be automatically included when you post something or reply to a post. Again, you know, we think more information is helpful, but we understand that, you know, some people just want to keep it simple. So first, definitely, you know, please, request from me is to have a meaningful username so we know who you are, and to give a little bit about yourself. I mean, even mine is basic with just, you know, Colleen Alber, product evangelist since 2005, kind of those basics. So once you come out here, you'll always see right in the center all of the latest things that are going on in community. You know, I have talked to some people, I mean, it's like, I'm not even to this point yet where they always have this up on one monitor and just watch this thing scrolling. These are probably the same people that we're all getting emails from that are replying to just about everything out there. But this is the latest, that is what has happened. Everyone, but then also you can segment it by who you are following. So just like Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter, there's this opportunity to not necessarily friend, yes, there are friends, but really follow certain people. And then this could filter on here who you are following to just their content that they post and question if there are connections that you've made or Highlanders or ImageSoft people that you want to follow. My OnBase is a new addition to Community, which will, not unlike what ImageSoft provides, show all of your support issues through Hyland software so that you can reference them and see the status. This is also where you can get a new license certificate. This is where you can unlock your database when you've gotten that new license certificate, and it will give you that challenge code. Different OnBase downloads that you have access to will be available from here. So if you're licensed for OCR and you need that capability, all of the downloads will be here. And if we are ever trying, like you're working with tech support and we need to make some files available to you, the FTP is now directly embedded in my OnBase as well. So from an information standpoint, with every release, you'll see the latest OnBase 13, OnBase 12, OnBase 14 community at the top. If you're looking, though, to get back at previous information, you can visit the OnBase 12 community, which is down here at the bottom. And then as soon as we put the OnBase 14 community up, you'll see links to the 12 and 13 communities down there. And then, of course, when you're looking to get more information, you can do the interactive video gallery on everything that is new with a particular release, and watch a little video maybe on just the modules that you have if you want to find out what's new. Watch a little video. Now, what my team is responsible for as the product evangelists are the product communities. So we are the owners just of this products tab. And it can be overwhelming at first, but we list all of the different product modules available, and each one has their own community of which you can become a member, which means that you can subscribe to notifications when there is new information made available on one of the products that you may or may not own. If you're just looking for information, we use these same 6 product categories to filter this list. So here I filtered on just all of the capture products. Or maybe I want to further filter on just our email applications. So there are some filtering capabilities for you to drive into this product list. Oh my gosh, I'm not used to this touch screen. Keyboard. So let's drive into one of these. And you'll see on here, this is the most basic information on the module right at the top, just a brief description. It tells you how many people are currently members of this community, and then you have the opportunity to join the group. If you don't want to be inundated with information, you can unsubscribe to any notifications. You can get a daily summary of everything that was posted, or even a weekly summary of maybe what was added to this community. Across the top, I encourage you to use these tabs to take a look at different design diagrams, the benefits, applications for ideas, key features, especially if you own the module, be sure that you're using them all, maybe some screenshots of the interface, and then also the architecture. Once you're in here, you'll see all of the different blogs. These are different topics, so any presentations or webinars on any particular topic. Everything that we do at OTTC and those webinars are all posted here. Our new and OnBase 13 is also posted to each individual community. Technical information, business information, videos, it's all here. So one of probably the most used aspect of community is the Q&A. So if you have a question on a particular module, if it simply doesn't do this, or if you think it's a little bit more of a troubleshooting, you can come into the Q&A. You will see what Highlanders specifically are moderators of the group. You'll see the members, but also anyone can respond, and that is the beauty of the Q&A out on communities, that it's not just limited to Hyland software employees responding, but our partners and our customers also respond, and I'll be the first to admit that oftentimes they are getting there faster, and they sometimes have better answers because they've experienced the exact scenario that you have. So I encourage you to take a look at this. Community, unlike users.onbase.com, it still has some room to grow, but has a full text search capability of everything on Community, which should help you find what you're looking for. Here's where you would ask a question. And then our release notes and downloads are all here. So this is all specific to integration for Microsoft Outlook. We provide the same capability for our solutions. So being here in the government space, we can limit our solutions to just those for government. And then we also have the opportunity to drive into our technical communities as well. So if you are more on the development side and you want information on upgrading, we talked about the parallel incremental upgrades or third-party software support or the APIs. All of that information is here and is all monitored by the technical staff at Hyland. So the last piece from Community, and again, these are just kind of bouncing around a little bit, are our Vogues or our on-base user group. And specifically, you can request to be members of the government Vogue. And while they are Hyland sponsored, they are completely run by users and users alone. So the entire board of directors is made up of end users, and they help shape software enhancements for the product collectively as a whole. They also provide training and educational webinars and just provide a smaller little niche community to share information about on-base and on-base solutions within that space. So if you're not part of one of our Vogues, I encourage you to do so. And then finally, our interest group, which is our user experience groups. Now, belonging to one of these groups, essentially you're volunteering or offering, or you're interested in maybe doing a little bit more beta, or maybe even being asked to participate in a focus group on the usability of the software, the performance of the software, the enhancement request process. Participating in some of these user groups down here lets us know, boy, I'm interested in working with you, Hyland, to do everything from improve the software to improve the way you communicate with us as your customers. So I encourage you to take advantage of some of these user group experience or partnership programs as well. So if we go back home for a second, another great resource, of course, especially when you're sharing with new departments within your organization, is, of course, onbase.com. This is where you'll find general information about OnBase, whether it is our kind of new OnBase in one word video, or if it's customer testimonials about OnBase, or if it's our new product brochure. So we talked about in the OnBase 14, and I'm sure you've probably seen them smatterings on Community, but how we're now defining OnBase and ECM in general using these 6 product categories. Well, we provide both a brochure, which is great for new people, but also a workbook which will help you evaluate your existing solution using these categories. And those can both be found on both onbase.com and Community as well. But out here, we have a lot of resources about what ECM is, where to start, understanding the building blocks of the 6 product categories, what our services look like, if you're interested in a little bit more information about cloud hosting or having some Hyland professional services come on site and do discovery. We have all of that information here. And finally, we will wrap up with training.onbase.com. So training.onbase.com is the home of education services. And this is where you will find free OnBase training, as well as some additional training components such as premium subscription that you do have to pay for. So right when you come in here, I think the first thing to kind of keep in mind is, so the courses are oftentimes either the classroom-based courses or the online courses through education services, more of a classroom training experience, whether it's physical or virtual, that you do have to pay for. Anything, though, that you'll find under the web-based training tab is free. So that means log in here and get some free training and share with your users some training. So for example, we have training from OnBase, at least 11, 12, and 13, on the Unity client, the OnBase client, and the web client. And these are great little tutorial training courses that can be great for you as that initial training step. Let's say you're interested in moving to Unity. Before you would maybe even talk about doing any training, they can sit down and just take a look or preview the Unity client as part of this training experience. Another great thing to take advantage of is our quick looks, and you can actually subscribe to the weekly quick look. You can either come in and come after them if you want to, or you can get an email whenever a new one is available. And typically these are like 2 to 5 minute videos that'll highlight some small feature of the product. Like, hey, I bet you didn't know you could, auto display your keywords or toggle thumbnails. And they may just be small features, or they may highlight a component of the product, such as the interactive data capture, and just give you more information. So these are probably two of my favorites under training.onbase.com, but you'll see that we have a lot of web-based training courses. The Quick Look gallery is up here, so if you want to go back and take a look at all the previous Quick Looks, or if you want to subscribe to that weekly newsletter, you'll see all of the different Quick Looks that we have available from this year. And training.onbase.com, if you've ever been on site for one of our training courses, or if you've taken any of the web-based trainings, will actually keep track of the training that you've done through Hyland, almost building that little resume or portfolio of the certifications that you have. This is also where you can get information on TechQuest. The next one is in July. And of course, OTTC is in September. And then finally, although it is not free, probably our most advanced kind of training offering is premium subscription. And this is just an overview video, so maybe we won't watch that. But you can see all of the different courses. And these are live recordings of an instructor, standing in front of a green screen, and then ultimately they'll put the PowerPoint or the software demo behind us. And you'll see technical training, module-based training, all the way down the line. So lots of great training that you can take advantage of. And I believe that the pricing for this, if you are interested, is actually based on what you pay in maintenance and potentially what how much software you have. No, it's premium is definitely an unlimited number of users. So everyone in your organization can take advantage. I would say for the most part it is a little bit more technical in nature. It's a little bit more kind of configuration-based, technical-based, installation-based. There are a couple out here that are good for the users, but they would more be awareness of what the module can do as opposed to like an end-user training. Those trainings are free under the web-based training. But these videos can be great. I'm trying to find a good one. And it gives you the description of all the different courses. We can enter premium. So that far you can get without any further authentication so that you can see all of the courses that are available before you would make the decision. Then you can see all of the different Highlanders standing in front of the screens doing the training. So it's almost like you're right there with them. We can even select categories based on role. Maybe you're an installer. And it will give all the courses based on that particular job role. All right, well with that, thank you all very much.